Over a year ago, I took a look at some of my favorite Minecraft ARGs, and in that video, I went over the definition of an ARG. An ARG, or alternate reality game, is a form of using the real world and interactiveness as a way to write a narrative, most commonly using the internet as a way to cause interaction. That's the official definition most will agree on, with ARGs such as Catastrophe Crow being a prime example of it, and if you want to get old, I Love Bees. However, as time goes by, this definition started getting a bit looser and looser as the internet evolved. Even in the Minecraft ARG video, I struggle with defining it, but I purposely ignore it just so I could talk about my favorite series. But now I can't ignore it any longer, because what is the definition of an ARG? Recently, there's been this Minecraft ARG by Wifey's that's been hitting the rounds and people are eating it all over. He came out with a sequel to it, and it's there when the discourse revolving around whether or not it's an ARG started spawning. It's a very complicated topic due to factors such as the interactiveness of the ARG and who's even making it in the first place. I'm gonna set 3 terms here that I'm gonna use to navigate through this short video: ARGs, web series, and Unfiction. Keep those in your head as we go through this. ARGs can be interpreted in numerous ways. It can be a website, an online video, an email. The biggest thing that matters is the interactiveness to create a story. The best comparison is a treasure hunt that's typically done online, but instead of treasure, it's more lore / part of the story, and depending on what you do, that lore can actually change. One thing that's pretty evident though is the interactiveness of it. Now, every ARG fluctuates between how much input they want you to put in, but usually it's to a point that has some direct impact on the story. If I want to connect this to love life, I'd use Bluebird as an example. Before February of 2026, their story was showcased via Twitter and YouTube, and we often got to make decisions revolving around how their group was organized and what outfits they got, in which they respond accordingly with videos and tweets. That's a level of interactiveness that directly impacts the story, so yeah, I would call that an ARG. It's just not horror as many people think of when you think of an ARG. And if you use that as a definition for an ARG, a lot of things that are considered ARGs aren't. A lot of these are web series, a series detailing a story that just so happens to have elements of unfiction to make it seem like it takes place in our world. Unfiction is a genre that depicts fictional events as actually being real, taking place in our world. 99% of series that are web series or ARGs are unfiction, as they usually try to make it seem like it takes place in our world, using elements such as technology and your favorite video game, VHS tapes, recording logs, things that we have in our own world. For example, Petscop. I've seen people call it an ARG, but that's not what it is. It's a horror web series that's unfiction in the way it displays its content as a Let's Play series. There's barely any interactiveness that changes anything besides piecing together a plot game theory style, but you can do that with anything. There's a mystery, that's for sure, and that may require some digging, but it's not like the information is gonna change once a bunch of people interact with it. If you look at the Minecraft ARGs I talked about in my video, most of them are web series. None of them have any elements of an ARG, besides like, ooh, look at the caption, you'll get a secret video link. But does that actually affect the story in the slightest? Is there any interaction between the viewer and the creator that actually changes or affects the series? No, and for the record, that's not a bad thing. Just because something isn't classified as an ARG doesn't mean it's bad. These stories are amazing and should be praised as such. Is Petscop not being an ARG ruin it? No, Petscop is amazing. Look at all the Mario web horror series that people often mistake as ARGs. These are amazing, with some of my favorites being the Power Star Archives and SM64 Classified. These combine a level of digital and analog horror to create a web series that's both fun to watch and follow. But it's not an ARG. Let's switch back to Wifey's for a second, as he's a very unique case. His biggest videos on ARGs are ARGs he created himself. He created the channel in the videos within the channel, and essentially creates his own narrative already knowing what's going to happen. It's not a matter of looking at a series, analyzing it, and making his own interpretation, no. He makes the big videos with a plan of already structuring it in the way he wants to. This gives him a lot of freedom with how he presents the video, and for the most part, it's done incredibly well. I got hooked very easily in along with many others. However, take away the analysis and this perspective that you're clearly supposed to have in your mind, and you're left with Minecraft footage that, being honest, doesn't really stand its own. It was created to be analyzed by Wifey's, and the story he tells is essentially canon because he purposely made it that way. What do you even call it at that point? Unfiction to the max? A web series designed to be analyzed, so the web series itself can be popular, creating a cycle of infinite views because analysis videos are more popular than the actual thing they're analyzing? We're getting kind of meta here, but the core thing is that it doesn't exactly fit the ARG definition. When I'm thinking of ARG, I'm thinking of some real interactiveness, like Crow64, where you email a character within the series itself that got so bad they stopped responding to them. But shit like that. Shit that actually matters and has an impact. Again, this doesn't devalue these kinds of series. Searching for a world that doesn't exist is still really fucking good, and looking at other web series, it's really nice to see a ton of innovation for how they showcase their content. A lot of people typically associate web series with horror, you know, that analog digital horror type shit, and in that regard, a lot of these series have gotten really good at horror, especially video game ones. I cannot get enough of those. But not an ARG. Don't get mixed up. Just because you get a link to a Google Drive doesn't mean it's suddenly a full-fledged ARG. And does that really matter? The term ARG has been misdefined for years. It wasn't just this Minecraft ARG that caused people to misinterpret it. I was already misinterpreting it, and that was long before that video released. And also, this isn't supposed to be a negative video in any way. I think by accurately defining these series, we can not only help people find more about what they love, but also learn how to praise it in the right ways. Praise a web series for its immersive visuals, praise a series for its detailed but understandable story, and when something actually is an ARG, calling it that will have way more of an impact when we know what an ARG actually consists of. If I got anything wrong, which is a very easy outcome considering I fucked up last time, feel free to let me know. And recommend any ARG/web series you personally love. One Unfiction video I'd recommend is Sagan Hawk's dinosaur video. It's a video going over a lost dinosaur game from Sagan's childhood, but the truth is, it's an entirely fake game. The visuals, the music, even the backstory, it's all fake and was all constructed for his video. In a way, it's sort of similar to Wifey's, and both do an amazing job at creating something that was purely made to be analyzed. I know that sounds like a spoiler, but like the moment you realize it's fake, you start admiring the effort put into it. There's benefits to this kind of meta storytelling that's admittedly very easy to fuck up, so I hope it doesn't cause a thing where everyone tries to do it, but who knows. It really is funny how ARGs have taken over the general population. Like, you could literally do anything, and someone's gonna suspect it's an ARG because of how much people have been pushing how far you can do an Unfiction series. You know, that does actually sound wrong. Saying Unfiction sounds wrong. ARG sounds right. Am I wrong? No. I'm never wrong.